course, to be considered. That's coming up in just over 5 kilometers time, and then we can settle in for the big climb. As Jebel Hafid is looming in the distance for the riders, all 11 kilometers on it, 6% average. It is a challenging hill, and it will decide destination of honours in the UAE Tour Women 2026.
The intermediate sprint is approaching, and the sort of Lucon is moving up with the team. It's going to be pretty important also for other teams to just move up. I'm talking especially with Kim Lecourt, who still sits in the back of the peloton. It's going to be a pretty key moment, like the second intermediate sprint, because it's where you are basically at the top of the feet of the mountain, and that's where the action is going to come. Well, I guess also UAE Team ADQ is going to pace up the climb, because that's the team supposed to do it in other teams' minds. So
yeah, they're as defending champions, and with all the GC contenders level on time, there's a sense that Lisa Longo Borghini is almost a virtual red jersey. It's only the hill will actually decide that, but does that, yes, psychologically give them a little bit more responsibility as far as they and the other teams are concerned?
Yeah, so much. I mean, so far nothing has happened. No other teams are actually done anything to challenge Lisa Longo Borghini and the UAE Team ADQ. So I reckon they just wait for her sprint or attack on the climb to just trying to follow her and maybe distance her on the final kick. Also, maybe Kim Lecourt has a pretty explosive final kick, so potentially that she's thinking.
Yeah, the Team Picnic Personnel squad moving up on the front of the peloton as well, with Mia Griffin just trying to have a look around, locate a couple of teammates. I wonder what they've got planned. Maybe some bonus seconds on offer for Chavoco towards that young rider competition.
Yeah, definitely. She only has 7 seconds to get from Zoe Baxter, but Zoe Baxter at the moment is still in the front, I reckon. She's going to be also there for Cassini Dodoma. She's third position, third wheel, the lead-out train.
Yeah, Canyon SRAM's on the crypto squad just to the left of the team hard right. So you see the yellow Vismalisa bike squad, then the Canyon SRAM's on the crypto just to the left, with third in line of those riders is Zoe Backstep leading that young rider competition. She got from Hori today. The final points to be distributed very shortly, and the Topos Fassa Bortolo squad have struggled to maintain a position at the front. That's a little bit of extra stress you feel for the rider in command of that points position, Sarah Lucon. And she'll hope, against hope, I suspect that there won't be any points scored by FDJ, and most particularly by Francisca Koch. Now the Lidl Treks lining up. And this is as much as anything about so many riders just using what they've got left at the key moment. The Lidl Treks moving up on the left-hand side of the road in line astern. Looked like the FDJs were right behind them, so potential for a little bit of a smash and grab here yet to play out on the roads into this final sprint.
Yeah, if they're able to sprint for the bonus seconds, I think they are pretty good to have some extra seconds ahead from Longo Borghini and the other GC contenders. For Nick Fisher-Black, can be really nice to have 3, 2, or 1 second, even if she can, of course, hold the pace of UAE Team ADQ on the climb, or Lisa Longo Borghini herself.
Speaking of whom, Lisa Longo Borghini is fourth in line of the UAE Team ADQ squad. They're in drag race format. If they peel off the front, maybe, just maybe, you might be just poking your nose in the wind and finding yourself on the front and scooping a bonus second here or there. Everything can count in large amounts in this particular kind of affair. And the Top Girls Fassa Bortolo squad trying to make their way through and find a gap behind Alison Jackson. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, as we're still 2 kilometers away, so you never just know. Things could change significantly in the final 2 kilometers ahead of this final intermediate sprint of the week. These Melissa bikes now have been supplanted at the front as it pins out a little bit through this roundabout, and the Canyon SRAM's on the crypto squad take command. And most importantly, it's Zoe Backstep that's hit the front for them. We can rev it into those roundabouts, can't you? We've seen that on several occasions this week. The Lidl Trek squad will be satisfied to have maintained a position on the front, albeit they've detached a little bit, and it's the picking personnels that are filling the gap in between. Charging up the middle, you need big watts to be able to do that. And it's SD Works trying to solve a problem by appearing at the front at just the ideal moment, right-hand side of the road. You've got the mix of the Canyon SRAMs and the UAE Team 80Q squads. Lisa Longa Borghini with the potential to scoop a couple of bonus seconds here.
Yeah, at the moment they are also boxing in a bit. Casinivedom on the right hand side. There was Zoe Backstead and Casinivedom are trying to follow her, but at the same time there was also Elena Backstead on the other side. And at the moment she sits exactly in the middle of the two sisters with Elisa Longa Borghini on the wheel.
It's solid at the moment for Lisa Longa Borghini, position of minimum fuss really. Kilometre to this final sprint of the week. It's going to be a drag race sprint, isn't it, by the looks of things? The Visma Lisa bike squad hard on the right hand side, trying to just move up, edge up a little bit, but with the Lidl Treks just ever so slightly faster at the moment. And interestingly enough, you've got the UAE Team 80Q squad that sort of ended up in the middle of the road, have decided to back the right hand side of the road once more. And 600 meters to this sprint is a roundabout. It's going to always make things a little bit interesting.
It's interesting also because FDG Suez is at the moment at the back of the peloton, holding the last position and trying to move on, as you can see from the left hand side. And there is still Lidl Trek pulling in the front.
Brilliantly done by the Lidl Trek squad. They own it on the right hand side of your picture at the moment, and the others struggling to maintain that level of power and ability. It's Lara Gillespie now slotting it down behind the Visma Lisa bike, and has Lorena Weavis is starting to appear as well, and it feels as if Lisa Longa Borghini is not interested in getting involved in this one, and Francie Koch is going to go and potentially scoop that one. It is, I think, it was second across the line, and that's going to be the 5 points that will give Francie Koch the victory in this competition by one single point.
3 points to the third.
Was she third or was she second? That's the question, because we're pretty much nailed on that Lara Gillespie took that sprint, but we wait now for final confirmation of who was second and who was third across the line, because Francie Koch in that black jersey of intermediate sprints competition leader, she had a 4-point deficit going into that final sprint. Second pays 5 points, third pays 3 points. So
we will see from the graphics soon. But anyway, something has changed definitely in the peloton, as you could hear also screams.
Let's get a look at this. You see Francie Koch just launching in that black jersey, the German colours. And I think third. Yeah, I think third. So that means that Sarah Lucon will hang on to win that jersey by a single point. Long solo raid from the Italian. And all to be confirmed, but it looked from the overhead as if Sarah Lucon had just about done enough by her raiding out front, and that Francis Koch not quite able to pinch that one at the death. She did, though, get a bonus second towards the general classification. It's something she'll be satisfied about as we make our way past Green Mubazara, the development with the palm fronds, and sits at the foot of the climb. 2k to the climb proper, but the road's starting to rise here. They're starting to feel the gradient a bit, and the moto riders, Indians, are starting to feel those unforgiving and unrelenting speed bumps. And yeah, you need to be shouting that in the bunch just to let everyone know what's about to appear.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, at this point of the race, the legs will scream as well, because you've been riding on the flat for so many Ks now, and also with the first slopes, which are not like so hard. We're talking about 3 up to 4%, and then from the second kilometer onwards, then there is the section where the average slope is 8%. So we are talking about a really steep section where positioning is really key, as well as like maybe potential attacks already there.
That's a long day waiting, and finally we arrive. Long week waiting indeed for all those GC contenders. This is all they've been thinking about almost every single moment of the week, is this arrival onto the final iconic slopes of Jebel Hafid today.
Yeah, it's also about the activate of the muscles, because at the moment the peloton was really riding quietly. I mean, in a calm way, not not too much effort. And then, of course, like when you need to be really punchy on the climb and push some pedals, and then your body finds it quite hard. I mean, also before the stage itself, we see riders doing some activation exercises, which also gives you the idea that the race is going to start pretty fast. And if there was the possibility to do some activation now, for sure there will be riders that do it. But I think that we will do some kind of activation as soon as they hit the climb.
There's confirmation. Final intermediate sprint standings, and Sarah Lugon has just about done enough. So she's got a trip to the podium. And yeah, congratulations. Well done to the Hop Girls fast support to the rider. I hope she gives a full account of herself on this climb, because need her at that podium. 400 meters to the start of this climb proper. The gradient has already started to ease upwards. They'll be feeling it ever so slightly. And that red jersey currently on the shoulders of Lorena Wiebes after 3 stunning sprint successes. Heading, one would anticipate, to the shoulders of another rider today, would be to the reigning champion Elisa Longo Borghini. Cassianovia Doma have had the winter preparation that will help her to overall success today. Be for Neve Fisher Black or
the moment, only one rider at the front, Zoe Baxter for Cassianiva Doma. Meantime, we have also Neve Bradbury just coming up now. Good news for them.
Yeah, Canyon SRAM squad certainly assembling in strength close to the front. Good job done by the AG Insurance Sudal squad as Kekira finds Kim Lacourt close to the front. Lisa Longo Borghini just has to make a little bit of an effort and short of teammates at the moment, but she's put herself into prime position in amongst the favourites. Swinkles was with her by the looks of things. And now they're all starting to go backwards and toiling as the gradient grips and becomes challenging, and it's a long road to the top of the hill, and climbing is not your forte. So still a large group involved as the gradient does start to challenge the riders. At this point, quite a grippy lead into the climb. There's a little section of about 10%, and then it just eases ever so slightly.
Yeah, the climb, let's say, is divided in 4 parts. The first part is like the second steepest section with the max gradient of 7%, and then we have like really a punch in the belly of 9% up to 10%, and that's the second section. Les Winkles now with Silvia Persico and Elisa Longo Borghini pacing in front of the peloton. That sets the tone a bit for the climb to come, because we are now on the 8% average.
Persico's huge. I haven't barely mentioned her all day. She definitely deserved a little bit more of mention in the build-up here. Of course, she was second on the climb 12 months ago and 8th the previous year, so she knows the hill well. She knows her role. She knows that she is not a bad old plan B, actually, for the UAE Team ADQ squad. They've got 3 really strong climbers on this hill, so Swinkles will invest in the early stages. Long way to the top from here, but they've got really strong, high-caliber climbing riders to set the agenda for the other group of favourites, and it's still a very, very large bunch that's involved here at the front.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. You need to be really patient and not to go too early. Now the pace is set by UAE Team ADQ, and Cassianida Doma sits right behind them. Perfect spot for her. Of course, Melody Gillespie and Elinor Baxter now.
Yeah, they can enjoy the climb and hope and listen on the radio that they're getting the good news from their teammates up front. They've done their work, and great work it has been so far this week. They'll leave it up to the climbing stars to settle in. Painful jog to the top of the mountain. Swinkles, King, jaw set, in control of her effort right now. How far and how deep into this climb can she go? The tempo that she's setting at the moment is continuing to prove just too challenging for riders who want to stay there as long as they can. Olrud has assembled on the close to the top of the hill, too close to the front of the group, and Suzanne Anderson there as well, her teammate, showing some interest. And Lorena's still there, and yeah, she'll try and hang on as long as she can on this hill. And I think she wants to sort of show respect for the jersey.
Yeah, she definitely can. She definitely can like hold on some more, because of course she's really strong. I mean, it's gonna be. I would not be surprised if she comes like maybe not in first group, but second, third group. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like I say, she was 20th up the hill last year, 4 minutes and 22 seconds down. And as she says, she's nothing to worry about tomorrow in terms of trying to save a bit of energy, because there's no more sprinting. Tomorrow it's all done today, so she can leave it all out on the mountain, and just for the hell of it, as much as anything else, just investigate her potential on a high mountain. It's not something that she's very often done, if ever, in her career to this point. So the Borghini, satisfied with the current progression. This is near 20 kilometers an hour at 10%.
So Juliette Berthet, this peloton, this little group.
Good job being done at the moment by Marta Hoosens to stay in there. She's got her two teammates further up in that group. I'm not so sure she's going to be there for a whole lot longer. Meanwhile, Francie Koch, after pushing for the bonus seconds, staying in for a while, and looks okay. Looks like she's can handle this kind of effort. Gradient eases ever so slightly, and that's good news for those riders who are starting to feel it a bit. Rivas one of them? Indeed, she was. Rivas just loses a few bike lengths. The gradient eases to 6%. I wonder, will she wish to regain that group for a little while longer, or will she say, well, enough is enough. It's been a brave effort. It's been a super week. It's been 3 stunning days of glory and victory, and red jerseys to behold, and there's a green jersey to collect at the top of the mountain.
She's been awesome. She did everything she could to hold on and trying to keep the jersey even today. But after 3 stage wins, she had to be happy about herself and the form she already has early on in the season. Longo Borghini on the radio.
And what's the word? Everything's good. Yeah, that tempo, what you're doing at the moment, keep doing that for another 8.5 kilometers. Everybody's feeling it. This is Barale. We might have had hopes and dreams of white jersey today. Francesca Barale is feeling the pinch a little bit. Still early days in the season.
Zoe Baxter is still in this group, so potentially if she holds on, then she can potentially wear the white jersey at the end of the day as well.
So it's still 8K to go. 26 seconds back to Lorena Wiebes. I'm not going to focus too much on that, really, because Lorena Wiebes is just going to set her own tempo and her own agenda on the climb, get up there as quick as she can. Meanwhile, still a very large bunch that is available to contest for glory today. Little of the Jacobs squad are happy enough. They've got Monica Petrenka, Colonel, 4th last year, in prime position. Spilling out the back, Vinny Fantini had a good week in the break. Michelle Albert trying to stay there as well. Everybody needing to stay focused, hydrated, to get the sugars in. Haberlin's still there as well, the Swiss champion. Belgian champion Gekira available for British national champion, her teammate, Kim LaCourte.
Baxter's driving on the back of the peloton at the moment.
She's done well to last this far. Still 7.7 to go, but this is danger moment really for Zoe Baxter. Meanwhile, Francie Koch is going backwards as well. Pushed hard to try and hang on. German national road race champion, of course, in that intermediate sprints jersey. She'll hand that over to winner of the competition, Sarah Lucon, at the end of today.
One more rider for Elisa Longo Borghini, or maybe not, because Silvia Persico said one more effort, stay at the front.
Wants to keep her in as long as possible. And it's something we've seen from Zwickels in the past, that she might drop away a bit and then come back, when the grading comes back, or if there isn't an investment by the other teams. What can the other teams do? Zoe Backstead, at the moment, she's in a world of hurt. It's her personal purgatory, but she has the agenda, the incentive of trying to stay there and defend that white jersey as long as she possibly can on this hill. And she's staying there, and it really is a remarkable performance. What a great all-round talent she is. What an emerging superstar of the sport she is. She's a wonderful off-road competitor in cyclocross. Of course, world champion on the road as a junior. But she's loitering at the back. That'd be the term. Loitering is labouring more, as far as she might describe it. The Italian winner of this particular race. She continued that remarkable situation. I don't think seems happy enough to let the UAE set the tempo. I mean, can they react? Will they react? Is there a value in that? At the moment, Monica Trinket Cullen. There was a few teams that have multiple representation in here.
It's definitely up to UAE Team ADQ to set the pace on the climb, because they are, of course, trying to study every movement of Elisa Longo Borghini that can potentially try to attack when it's 2 kilometers to go, because that's the max slope that this climb can offer with the 11%. And that's where also she used to attack previous editions as well. So, of course, Monica Trinca-Colonel is there looking at her, as well as all the other riders and GC contenders. Now we also have Kasia Nikodoma on the right.
Iceman just going backwards here, the human-powered health rider. So Backstead is hanging on grimly, because she's after getting through a 10% section. Gradient eases ever so slightly, coming a little bit back towards Zoe Backstead. Slightly frustratingly, she encounters Caroline Zwickels, has to go up and over her, finds herself with a couple of bike lengths to close, and it is on this mountain fundamentally a headwind. Now the wind isn't exactly, but if you can stay in the groove, then you're okay for a bit longer. But then if you find yourself detached, you've got to close a gap, and she hits a section that is at 10%. That's not ideal for her.
Absolutely, the wind plays an important role here, as well as the pace set by UAE Team ADQ. You see that the group is getting smaller and smaller. They make us look and feel that's pretty easy, but it's not, because it's 10%, and the pace that they have to keep it's pretty high, because Elisa Longo Borghini needs a high pace in order to speed up and attack. Otherwise, she doesn't go anywhere. I mean, she needs further teammates to work.
Yeah, and interesting that Zoe Backstead, trying to maintain a position, scoots over to the right-hand side of the road. She's looking for as much shelter as she can get from that mountain. She's also going to get slightly longer in the shade. And through that last little right-hander, she found herself going the slightly shorter course. Heading over to a left-hander, though, makes sense to go back towards the line that's been taken by the main group.
She's doing absolutely brilliant. I mean, she was really scared of this climb ahead of the race, but she's doing brilliantly to trying to keep the position and trying to pace up her own pace up the climb. I mean, it's all that she needs to do at the moment. She doesn't need to force. She just needs to go up and just maintain her own tempo, and then trying to keep the jersey.
So now it is Silvia Persico that sets the tempo down to 1 for Elisa Longo Borghini. Kasia Nikodoma goes around, just looks to try and cover this one as it's Spratt that's going. I was just for a moment wondering, was it Niamh Fisher-Black, but it's Spratt that's trying to set something up, and Elisa Longo Borghini realises that that's not going to last for any length of time, and that didn't really work out as the Little Trek squad would have hoped. But look at what that injection of pace and power has done to this group, as Elisa Longo Borghini still fully 6 kilometers from the line, has decided to strike out for glory. Now she'll have a little look around at the damage that she's done. Kasia Niewiadoma has managed to hang in there. Monica Trinket-Colonel looking pretty good as well. Fiji is thereabouts as well. Is it Fiji? No, yeah. That has managed to stay connected here. And now we have a wonderful piece of recovery work and a nice piece of work done by Niamh Fisher-Black. She arrives at the front and sets a searing pace. Kim LaCourte has managed to join up with this one. And we are now down to the battle of the favourites. 6 riders for overall glory here on this mountain. Fisher-Black has a little look over her shoulder and maybe just eases off ever so slightly. Wants Kasia Niewiadoma to set the tempo. And it's De Vries, actually. That's De Vries, of course, who went looking for bonus seconds early in the week. That is the Melissa bike rider that's infiltrated this one. Clearly on absolutely stunning form. Monica Trinket-Colonel hits the front, but they kind of start to almost grind to a halt. And potentially they're going to let these riders back up and in.
Yeah, the move of Amanda Spratt opened up the unwanted attack of Elisa Longoborghini, which was trying to do a little bit of leg stretching in the moment to try to see whether the other GC contenders were there and ready to go. It's still too early for Elisa Longoborghini to make a difference on these slopes.
Last couple of kilometers, just that little bit easier, but just before they reach that last couple of kilometers, that's where it really is at its most intense. And I suspect that's a point on the climb where a lot of the riders will be thinking about it. Split into 2 groups, and the chase group have just lost a rider as Moskova, the Kofida squad, who's doing a great ride on the climb, you'd have to say. Into a little bit of an echelon here as Gekira lines up behind Berthe. Liam Berthe in Group 2 on this climb. So leading 6, and there's a bit of communication as if to say, do we really want to let them back in?
I think they're studying each other. It's still 5.6 k's to go. It's still a long time on this climb. Open space, open wind. It's of course they need extra help from teammates if they come. Now we see also
is absolutely burying herself to try and close the gap. Haberlin is available, and they have stalled to almost walking pace just ahead. So it looks as if the junction is going to be made. For now, at any rate, those riders are back up to swell this up to about a 10-rider group. Chabocco is thereabouts, and just as I say it, Monica Trinket-Colonel pulls the trigger, and she has gone for glory. Niewiadoma, immediate reaction. The group that was almost in touch realize that they've got it all to do again. This 6% section means they can really rev, and they're absolutely flying along at north of 20 kilometers an hour. Make that approaching 30 kilometers an hour. It's incredible the way they get up this hill at such speed. And Monica Trinket-Colonel showing the sort of quality of athletic ability that she burst on the scene with in last year's UAE Tour Women, as Niewiadoma and the reigning champion Elisa Longoborghini in her wheel tracks.
They seem all pretty ready to go. They are waiting for the attacks to come and for the decisive slope to attack.
LaCourte is cracked. She just gets on the radio and says, "That's me. That's all I've got." And that's unfortunate for the Mauritian rider, who was 3rd on this mountain 12 months ago. But she's not going to challenge for glory. We're down to 5 up front. It's still Monica Trinket-Colonel turning the screw and eliminating another rider from contention. That's a surprise and a shock and a source of concern. Though she'll try and recover as quickly as she can. She'll be scooped up by the group, including her teammate Justin Gekira, very shortly. But remarkable, really, isn't it? Just how much of a gap they've put into the best of the rest behind, and that group's starting to fracture as well. Van Aert was doing a great job for Berthe. I wonder if it's Berthe that's trying to see what she can do about leave the rest of those.
Absolutely, that's Berthe with Eva Van Aert in the second group. Pace, of course, set by Monica Trinket-Colonel, hurted quite a few people here.
It's actually Chabocco has gone for a little bit of a solo ray to try and race across the extraordinary gulf that exists between these teams. Eleonora Chabocco trying to vault across. Not going to happen. Monica Trinket-Colonel is on the attack once more. What a show of strength and ability. Fisher Black and Kasia Doma just having to take a moment to react to that one. Femke de Vries is absolutely rock solid here. The rider third in line, probably the biggest surprise in this group is Femke de Vries.
Yes, absolutely was the biggest surprise, but she's running really well and she's marking Elisa Longo Borghini every moment she does. At the moment, she's right on the wheel, pacing.
And here comes Fisher Black. She's had quite enough of that. No more of this attack stall. She's decided it's her turn to launch an attack. She's already done one. A couple from Monica Trinca-Colonel. One effort so far that we noticed from Elisa Longo Borghini. De Vries and Kasia Doma following the wheels and looking very strong in doing it to this point in the proceedings. Will Doma take it up in the front, because I feel sure that Fisher Black is about to stall. And this one is constant attack stall. Ultimately, their progress is still significant and they've got a decent gap. Well, a huge gap, isn't it? Approaching half a minute on the best of the rest on this mountain. Just as I say, if they continue to stall, it looks as if Berthe is going to be able to drag herself back into contention. She's managed to haul herself up to Chiboko. Haberlin looking solid, the Swiss champion, representing well for the SD Work squad. Their plan B after the departure of Anna van der Breggen. Fisher Black, happy to launch the attack, not so happy to set the tempo on the front, and the wind may be playing a little bit of a role in the tactics.
Yes, exactly. 4K to go, and of course, like being at the front, it doesn't help you in getting extra wind and lose some energy. Whilst Elisa Longo Borghini and the others are well covered behind and just follow the rhythm and the tempo set by Fisher Black. But I reckon that it's soon time for Elisa Longo Borghini to make a move, because she looks like she's waiting for the right moment to attack. Yes.
You know this hill as well as this rider, who's been an ever-present in this race since its inception in 2023. She's won the race on 2 occasions, and she's won it with her efforts on this particular mountain, and indeed being representative of the UAE Team ADQ squad. She certainly knows the hill. They'll have come and recce'd it, and they will have detailed planning, and she'll be getting the word from the team car behind exactly what this one's about. It's Nivea Doma that fires this time. They looked in danger of letting that group 2 close down the gap, and well, they're not quite going to let them in, and it's Kasia Doma that is next to take responsibility, you feel, for the attack. Race next up. It's a funny way of sharing the workload, but it's effective in maintaining a position. All of these riders, as far as I can tell, yep, they're all in the same position on general classification. De Vries has a 3-second advantage. De Vries is second in line here with that yellow jersey, the Visma Leasebike rider. Has scoops of bonus seconds out the road. They could prove critical. Let's not forget as well the 10.64 on offer at the finish line. But all of the other riders started the day 30 seconds down, so basically fundamentally level on time. It's just De Vries has the GC advantage here.
Yeah, she's the virtual head. There she is.
Well, there's Elisa Longo Borghini, and she knows the time to launch, and she opens up a gap of about a bike length or 2, and Kasia Doma's not able to do it. De Vries tries to fix that one, but here goes Elisa Longo Borghini, and she's not going to let up just yet. Will De Vries be able to get herself back onto the tail of the Italian champion? She's burying herself. She's within a couple of bike lengths, but will she be able to join up? And that's a key moment, because Nivea Doma looks like she's out of breakfast just now. The gap's opening up on the hill, as we see from this helicopter shot. It's going to be tough for anyone to get on terms. Elisa Longo Borghini goes again, and De Vries starts to wilt.
This is attacked by Elisa Longo Borghini that
Colonel couldn't do anything about it. Fisher Black in picture here, also toiling on the mountain. And the hill will decide. And when Elisa Longo Borghini decided to launch, well, there is nothing to touch this rider in this kind of form. Different preparation this year. Kasia Doma and Femke de Vries are managing to ride their way back into contention here. Nivea Doma has recovered the better, and she looks a little bit fresher as things currently stand. But the grimace on her face tells a story. She is absolutely at the end of her tether. Will we have a reset? Will Monica Trinca-Colonel be able to wake her way back in? Fisher Black isn't too far behind the Italian rider, but it's Elisa Longo Borghini that has set her stall out and just announced herself as the strongest rider. almost at the point where De Vries was back in. Elisa Longo Borghini goes again. So it's now the champion of the Giro d'Italia against the champion of the Tour de France from 2 years ago. And which one is going to prevail over the final 3 kilometers?
These are the steepest sections, and you can see also the efforts they both put in. It's also important for the other riders to just keep control of the situation and not to go too far out of the limits. It's important to pace up the climb and trying to reach the easiest slopes, but it's super hard when you have a killer pace set by Elisa Longo Borghini that tries again.
She's gone again. She tried to play a little bit of poker with it. Didn't she go alongside and say, you know, I can go shoulder to shoulder with you to the top of the mountain. Elisa Longo Borghini, well, you can't kid a kidder. She knew all about that one, and she sensed that she is the dominant force here. And as the gradient grips again with 3 kilometers to go, Elisa Longo Borghini takes to the pavement, but there won't be any penalty for that. It's a free run here, and Cassianivia Doma does in pursuit of her. And will she be able to toil her way back in? She doesn't give up too easy, does the Polish champion. It's national champions everywhere, isn't it? The Polish champion against the Italian champion. And she's back on and back in.
They are two absolute champions, and Elisa tries again. It's incredible.
The second she gets back on terms, Elisa Longo Borghini launches again, and will that be one more attack and maybe a final attack for Elisa Longo Borghini? It's the most amount of advantage she's had on this hill. She immediately scampers clear to what, maybe 20 meters, 30 meters clear, and rising up to 10 seconds almost of an advantage. Still 2.5 kilometers to go. It's a long, long way to the top of the mountain from here. But Elisa Longo Borghini's been here before, and she knows exactly how to ride this one. De Vries hasn't given up on this one either. She's still in touch with Cassianivia Doma, potentially on course for second overall. Mind you, neither two has Monica Trinca-Colonel measuring her effort to perfection on this climb as well.
This climb has to be like a work of passion, not only on the legs, but especially on the mind, because when Cassianivia Doma saw Elisa Longo Borghini so close, but then attacking one more time, it was like really painful, not just for the legs, but just also psychologically, when you just can't anymore. But she's trying to deal with the efforts and trying to manage the efforts to be not so far away, as well as she's doing. Also, Monica Trinca-Colonel and Femke De Vries.
They join up. It's a work of passion, isn't it, up front for Elisa Longo Borghini? Nice way of putting it. No, a passionate bike rider, more experienced bike rider. It would appear no more talented bike rider as well. Different approach to her training through the winter, and ultimately it's led to the same result. A rider who is imperious on Jebel Hafid. Pursuers, ones and twos now. Cassianivia Doma potentially just dropping back into the clutches of Femke De Vries and Monica Trinca-Colonel. It's showing as a 15-second margin there. I'm not sure it's quite that big a gap between second and the third and fourth riders on the hill. The gap is certainly well over half a minute now for Elisa Longo Borghini. As the gradient eases ever so slightly, she's able to contemplate the big ring for the final couple of kilometers of this climb. She'll settle into the rhythm. She knows what's possible now. She knows she's the strongest on the mountain, and she knows how to measure it all the way to the line from here.
Yeah, she knows the climb. She knows that she has to push on the climb and keep, especially, and knowing that she also made a difference that gives her an extra boost of confidence to ride to the finish line, and having also the time to salute.
Doma overhauled by De Vries and Monica Trinca-Colonel, immediately dispensed with. So that's a huge, huge effort made by the Polish rider too. It was all in for the win, really, and she won't be that, miffed by the fact that she's been distanced by the other two. She may indeed be able to recover and go back up to her, but she tried to stay with Elisa Longo Borghini for as long as she possibly could. It was all about trying to take the overall win. The Polish rider will feel that. She's got decent form, maybe not the top form that she would have liked to take the win this week, but nonetheless, she's thereabouts, and with hopes and dreams of further glory in the season. Meanwhile, 1,500 meters to the top for the race leader and the reigning champion, and it would appear the champion-elect. Champion defense is on course. 1,500 to the top for team captain and the team leader of the UAE Team ADQ squad. Looking relaxed as Trinka Colonel and Femke de Vries look to, at this particular point of the climb, it's possible that they can get a benefit from going up and over and working together.
Yeah, it's not so hard in this final section. It's probably one of the easiest slopes that they will tackle, and for sure, like being with another rider also helps in trying to recover some time, some seconds. And Casamigos is on a roll.
She's pedaling squares. I wonder where indeed fifth place rider is on the hill. Scattered all over this mountain at the moment. Fisher Black was the final rider to be detached by this group, or the sort of fifth rider, if you want to say it. At any rate, under the kite, 1,000 metres remaining for Elisa Longo Borghini. Gradient becomes ever so slightly more challenging, so she goes to lower gear ratio. She down on the small ring, you can see that her cadence just suddenly revved up there. Meanwhile, Monica Trinca-Colonel having announced her presence as a general classification contender with fourth on this mountain 12 months ago, finishing 38 seconds down on Lisa Longo Borghini on that occasion. She's about 23 seconds down now, so there's every chance that she'll just maybe just close the deficit a bit, move up on general classification as well, and continue her trajectory of improvement as a top World Tour bike rider. Livia Doma, though, over 3/4 of a minute down. It only seems a heartbeat ago since she was up front and challenging for glory. Monica Trinca-Colonel spots an opportunity to put the breakout star of this particular event, Femke de Vries, a little bit further behind. De Vries, though, with a 3 seconds advantage on Trinca-Colonel starting the day, but of course there are 2 extra bonus seconds available, so even finishing third, I think she'll manage to finish second in this race as long as she's with her, but she needs to be with Monica Trinca-Colonel at the finish line. So that one's in doubt. Who's going to finish second? Who's going to finish third overall in this race? No doubt, I think, at this point, who's going to win this race overall? She's going to win stage honours and the overall. We've been talking about her all week. Finally, it's victory for the UAE Team ADQ squad after playing second fiddle to the SD Works team over the first 3 sprint stages. Now, the outcome of the woman, and it is once again Elisa Longo Borghini inside the final moments of this beautifully produced display of stage race ability. It's glory once again on Jebel Hafid for Elisa Longo Borghini. She has a little look over her shoulder, and now at last she can celebrate a triple success on Jebel Hafid and victory of UAE Tour Women for 2026. Monica Trinca-Colonel powers through the final bend, still has a bit of daylight between herself and Femke de Vries, so likely moving to second overall. If there's a separation between those 2 riders at the conclusion, I suspect there will. Livia Doma, racing solo, has fended off the rest just about, managing to hold off Pete Fisher Black for what's going to be fourth on the day, fourth in the bike race. Already in recovery mode and looking in control of her breathing. There's Livia Doma, just as I said, it wasn't Pete Fisher Black, it's actually Kim McCourt. What a great recovery by McCourt. She was detached early on in the climb, wasn't she?
Absolutely. She initially had the help of Justine Piquiere, but she was also like able to manage her efforts and just to pace up the climb really well to the point to reach even Castellini Roma. I think Cassia also like just lost a bit of hopes during the last meters, and now we see that Nova Chabocco also getting some extra second that can potentially like make wear the white jersey.
Yes, yeah. Eleonora Chabocco of the Team Picnic Post and L squad, superb job done by her. It's been much to celebrate. Well, at least Lisa Longo Borghini giving the fans at the top of the mountain something to cheer for, and good job done by Steady Haverhill as well. Kira for the AG Sudal squad. Carefulness also producing a top points, was it there for Just about the most cool, calm, and relaxed person on the top of the mountain is the rider that's just 154 kilometers. And absolutely haired up this final mountain as if it wasn't there. It was as routine a win as you're going to get for any rider, or at least Alonga Borghini. She knows, been in the peloton for as long as she has, that they don't come that easy. But that looked pretty comfortable. She'll be thrilled with that one. Oh, this was the moment when Lisa Alonga Borghini decided to take things out immediately on the pedals. Nidia Doma gave up a couple of bike lengths, and Femke de Vries, I think, just wanted to ride up and around her, but she wasn't able to finish that one off. Nidia Doma, not quite the same snap, but she was able to grind her way back onto the back wheel of Lisa Alonga Borghini. But by the time it came to this point, massive fissures in that lead group. Riders all over the mountain, and the bonus seconds seem was smooth, really. The conversation we had about those during the week.
How to describe Elisa Longo Borghini, by the way? I'm still speechless, really. You know that she is one of the strongest riders in the world, but after watching what she does during the races, both on the flat and on the climb, just like speechless.
How she behaves as well, and how she presents herself. It's 1-2 for Italy on the climb. So Lisa Longa Borghini gets the victory ahead of Monica Trinket Colonel. Femke de Vries find third place for the Visma Lisa bike rider. First Dutch top three on this Jebel Hafid in the history of the event, short history of the event. Give the court a great recovery rider before the head of Kasia Nidia Doma, Chiboko, Fisher Black, Haberlin, Akira, Julia Berthe. Recovering as well for 10th, albeit 1 minute 38 seconds down on Lisa Longa Borghini. Stage victory comes with the final red jersey as well of overall success in the event. So it'll be interesting to get the thoughts of the reigning and still the champion of the UAE Tour Women, Lisa Longa Borghini. It's here for now.
It is a victory number 3 at the UAE Tour. How do you describe that one?
Yeah, it's definitely a victory that tastes really well because as a team, we really wanted to win here. And personally, Jebel Hafid is a climb that I have in my heart. I want to thank all the staff members and the team vivoUAE DQ because they supported me at the best, and today we were really committed to this victory. We came here not sure about the shape that I had because we took it a little bit easier this winter, and it was a bit harder to win this year compared to last year. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I thank my trainer Paolo Longo and all the people that are staying behind me and working in the shadow.
Was it the plan to go for the win within 4 kilometers to go?
Well, they started attacking, and I like to play, so I went into the game and I stayed calm and chill until, I saw them pretty tired. Then I did one attack. I saw Kasia following me, and then when I saw that she looked a little bit tired, I went again, and I could drop her. But chapeau to everyone today because they made the race nice. At least the climb, the first part was pretty boring.
What was the feeling crossing the line?
Yeah, it's joy, and I have this climb reminds me of a friend that I lost last year, and I have him in my heart. So again, this is a climb that it's special, and a victory that goes to him.
Complimenti.
Yeah, nice words there from Lisa Longa Borghini. She pays tribute to fallen friend. So Lisa Longo Borghini, a 16-second margin of success at the conclusion of 4 days of racing. Monica Trincola now elevated to the final finishing podium. Vancouver Reese in fine third place, just besting Kim LaCourte based on the. Oh no, she's just 1 second down on Monica Trincola, full 50 seconds ahead of Kim LaCourte. And fundamentally, the final finishing order of general classification reflecting the top 10.
Good
On the
representation of the Italian nation, by the way. With two people in the first three. So, with also Eleonora Ciabocco getting the white jersey. Not too bad to be like in this shape already early on in the season. And of course, the black jersey with the Sara Lucon.
Oh yeah, so a pretty good day for Italy all round, it has to be said, absolutely, yeah. 3 riders in the top 6, 2 in the top 2. First Dutch appearance in the top 3 of this particular stage, although Dutch riders have won pretty much all the other stages, haven't they? Amber Crack and Charlotte Cole, as well as Lorena Reeves. Celebrations are plenty. We're looking forward now to our podium presentation. Could take a little while now for this one. We're awaiting the arrival of. First of all, looks like we have the appearance of the erstwhile red jersey holder, but the winner of the green jersey and winner of the points classification after 3 sensational stage successes this week. Lorena Reeves arrives at the top of the climb. The week is complete and much to celebrate. Somewhere further down the hill, we're assuming, is Sarah Lucon. She went out early, didn't she, on that finishing climb? But she's got the intermediate sprints classification to celebrate and escort her to the podium swiftly as we can.
Good reward for her. Being out for so long on her own. And chapeau to her, chapeau to everybody here. Actually, they made really a good fight until the end. As Lisa Longo Borghini said, it wasn't so easy to win for her. So it was a really good fight on the climb.
Yeah, she had to battle for it, but she had the form. Interesting to see the final finishing times on the hill and how they compare with previous years. Albeit we did have a little bit of a headwind. I'm not sure if we have the wind conditions from previous years as well, but no doubt someone will be making those calculations and working them out. But I think Lisa Longo Borghini has much to be content about. She has built a very, very solid base of fitness into the season and clearly has enough of a peak to produce World Tour stage race winning performance.
She still has the margin to improve, of course. Like starting the year like this with the awareness of being strong but not at your best, it also gives you further motivation for the further goals to in the season. And yes, also having the emotional part also this time, as she said, she's paying tribute to the friend lost last year. She also gives you further motivation to pay tribute to that.
So the various developments in and around Al Ain, which is it's a peaceful town, isn't it? But it's growing, developing, extending. Funny old day, wasn't it? Slow burner would be the operative phrase. Well over 4.25 hours of racing and 156 kilometers in prospect for the riders as they prepare for the 4th and final stage of UAE Tour Women 2026. The foot of Jebel Hafid and Al Ain Hazab bin Zayed Stadium, riders would wind and wend their way. Lorena Wiebes in the red jersey after 3 great stage successes, knowing that she was going to be handing that over at the end of the day. But which of the GC contenders would climb the best, and who would win the intermediate sprints classification? Sarah Lucon going north, heading out to an advantage, approaching 4 minutes at one stage. 20-year-old Italian rider with the top girl.